Welcome to Unscripted Startups. I'm your host, Cameron Stack, and today I will be speaking with Christine Teh. She is a money and financial coach as well as a tax consultant, and she posts a lot of great content about how to be financially prepared on LinkedIn. So I thought I'd bring her on the show and talk to you about finance and some of the things that are going on right now and how you can prepare best for them. So thanks for coming on the show.
Cameron, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. So tell our audience a little more about what you do.
I'm a financial coach. So basically what I do is that I help people build a good relationship with money. So my clients come from all kinds of backgrounds, from people who have a lot of debt to people who makes very good money, but they don't know where their money goes, right? So my focus is really around we focus on the budgeting, so they stay on top of that, and then throughout the journey with the budgeting, when they start to become more aware of their finances, then we solve any of their money issues that come up and stuff like that. And then today, like coronavirus, like any other day, I mean, it's still a bit more important now to be more aware of your finances. So hopefully, not a lot of people are just unfortunately, some people just realize how important this is. But I try to to keep my the clients that I got was actually, they've been pretty good. Most of them actually came pre-COVID, so it wasn't like there was a lump of people that came in when coronavirus started.
I wanted to ask you, what are some of your tips for the class of 2020 who are just getting out into the workforce, or maybe they can't get a job right now due to the whole coronavirus thing? What are some tips that you would give to them on how to be financially prepared once they do start getting that paycheck and once they start getting that money coming in?
For people who lost their job because of the coronavirus, I mean, like it's the same concept as me being an entrepreneur. So my income, always goes up and down. So it varies, right? So it's the same. I think as some of my clients, their fear or the prospects I talk to, they're like, my income got cut in half. Actually, I have some clients who's also going through that. And then I said, yeah, they welcome to the life of an entrepreneur. So you gotta hustle. So I encourage them to find side jobs, part-time or anything that you can offer a service virtually. I mean, you can be a VA, you can sell stuff online, or you can do whatever you need to hustle or learn new skills. If you have enough savings, hopefully you do, then learn new skills so you can keep yourself being marketable, so that when it's time to actually look for a job, you have all those skills. You didn't just sit there and then do nothing. So always be productive, do something, work, keep finding stuff to do, or like something to make money or learn new skills.
I think that's excellent, and I remember seeing a few people posting on LinkedIn about what individuals were going to spend their stimulus check on, and I was like, the best investment you could do with that money is invest it in yourself. So learn some kind of trade or certificate.
Exactly. Yep. I have spoken at a high school graduate. It was like, it's the summertime, they just graduate high school, and then they were offering some summer workshop, some life skill workshop and stuff. So that was fun because I got a chance to actually learn what high school students are thinking. So common questions were like, I want to own a house, I want to retire early, I want to own pets, and like it's like the American dream, right? Owning homes, stuff. And then like some of them already have credit cards even. So I think my tips is like, start budgeting. That's like the most simple thing. That's the number one advice I would give anyone. Start budgeting. It is so important for you to be aware and then know where your money goes. I mean, end of the day, I mean, it's like pluses and minuses, right? So you would think it's pretty simple, but some people do struggle with that. But most of them, they're going through so much trauma around money. That's why I'm there to help them to actually move through that, to talk it through, to work it through. Like, we go through their history, their past, like what happened. So we have to heal those traumas to be able to move forward.
Yeah, for sure. Do you recommend any programs? Because I know someone said that it's good to put all your purchases on a credit card and then pay them off each month. Obviously, only buy stuff that you already have the money in your checking account and you're not buying frivolous purchases. But they were saying if you have it all on one credit card statement, then you can see what you're spending stuff on and what you can cut out. What are your thoughts on that?
So yes, only spend what you have, and then for the credit card, I have nothing against credit card. I actually like credit cards, but of course, I only recommend this to my clients who have graduated. So I say graduate when I know they're always on positive cash flow, they're always aware of their finances, they got this budgeting tool down. Like when I say down, like they always on top of it. They are consistent with it. So I think when they graduated, then I don't see anything wrong with credit cards. I think credit cards actually has a lot of value because first of all, you get protection. Like you don't have to worry about charging, buying stuff online, whatever. I mean, if people do get your credit card number, I mean, you can always dispute that, right? So it's a little easier. And then plus, the money has not been taken out from your bank account yet. So whereas a debit card, the money has already been taken out from your account. And then if you pay cash, then good luck getting any of that back, right? So, so yeah, I don't have anything against credit card. I actually prefer that over everything.
I think that's really important and a key differentiator because yes, if you lose cash, you're never going to see that again. If someone uses your debit card, you're most likely not going to see that because the dispute process takes weeks, if not months. But with a credit card, they tend to side with you unless they know that you're like a problem person who just disputes everything. So I feel like there is a little more of a barrier and safety net for you. But yeah, obviously having a credit card, a lot of people think of it as like free cash, free stuff. And it's like, no, yeah, it's not that way. You have to pay it off. So you only want to buy things that you know you're going to purchase already. You just want the added protection and maybe the miles or the bonus points. But if you are not already planning on buying that item with cold hard cash, you shouldn't use a credit card.
Exactly. And then like that's the sad part about our country, right? Because then it's and I'm Chinese. I was born and raised in the Philippines, and then most Asia countries in the Asia are actually they were still very heavily on cash. And then like so I moved here in 2000. I immigrated in the United States in 2000. So I was born and raised there. So before I left, I mean it was all cash. Like there's really not credit cards there. So if you only can spend on cash, then you can only spend what you have. So there's no option for you to spend what you don't have yet, which is the concept of credit card. And then here in America, it's just like it's so easy. I mean, I don't know, like maybe 15, 16-year-old can even get a $500 credit card now, and then like they're like, oh wow, I can just charge, and then oh what how much do I have to pay? Oh, $10 minimum. I was like, oh, I can spend 500, 1,000, whatever, and then I only have to spend the minimum. So it makes it so easy for people, and then I think that's just very dangerous to just give credit card to people who have not understand that concept. And then it's very sad, like here in the United States, there's no subject that's mandatory in school for financial literacy. I think everyone should have that. All schools should have that. I think our government should make change to actually have that it's a required subject. Like just teach people, okay, how do you manage your money, how do you start budgeting, how do you even start, I don't know, like if you're given $50 allowance, how do you manage that? But you are really on your own. You need to have good luck. Hopefully your parents are also financially literate and then start teaching you that. But most of my clients who come to me who have no idea about their finances is because they were raised with parents that that don't know anything, and it's not their fault. It's not the parents' fault. They might have been raised around that, and it's not the fault of my clients too. So it's like if they don't get it at home, they don't get it in school, then then they're kind of on their own. They need to be also smart enough to actually even start asking for help or even figure out where to even start. So if they don't know where to start, I would just suggest, I don't know, they can follow me. I always post educational stuff that provides free value on LinkedIn. I'm also on Instagram. You guys can find me, Teh Financial Coaching. My last name is Teh Financial Coaching. And you can just connect with me on LinkedIn, Christine Teh, Teh. And Cameron will share all that links with you later. But yeah, you can start with that. Actually, I'm gonna start creating a course on financial literacy, something that's actually very affordable, so people in even high school can even buy that, or high school graduates, so that at least they can just get started, because sometimes they just don't know where to even go or even start to even learn about finances.
Yeah, I think you bring up some excellent points, and that is like the education system has not been working for a lot of people, and I feel like it's just like a no-brainer to offer a financial literacy and a few other classes that help people like survive in the real world, because like it doesn't matter how high your IQ is, if you can't survive outside of the education system. And like even college, they focus on social studies and focus on history and they focus on this. There's no like get a job, how to manage the money from your first salary position, or like just life skills in general. And I've noticed a lot of people when I was in college that like they couldn't do their own laundry, they couldn't do basic stuff like that. And like you got to learn that stuff.
Yep, exactly. Well, I'm a big supporter in this. So I think like if we can just change the entire education system to actually, like math, science, they're all like or English, they're all mandatory class, right? So I think like when they start high school, I think at the minimum, high school, or at the latest high school, they when they start high school, I think there should be a mandatory class for financial literacy.
Yeah, definitely. With credit cards, my family was like, you only spend stuff with cash. So I had to learn like, what are credit cards? What is a credit score? How do I grow a credit score? And that was difficult for me, but thankfully there are so many great YouTube videos and so many good videos on how to, like credit score wise and stuff like that. What are some of your tips for like people who maybe spend a little more than they should? How do they curb back some of that spending, whether it's daily lattes or 5 million streaming platform memberships? What would your suggestions be on that?
Yeah, so basically my budgeting system is very simple. So I don't judge someone if if they want to drink every day, they want to have coffee at Starbucks every day. That's fine. If you can afford it, it's in your budget, then okay, so what? If you as long as you are working on your other financial goals, you're maxing out your retirement, you're saving for your retirement, you're investing for wealth growth, I mean, that's fine. But then like what if you can't afford it? So if you can't afford it, then I ask them, then okay, obviously you can't afford this, so I make them decide on their own. So where can you cut back? What are you willing to do? What's more important for you? So we go back to their values, like what is your overall goal? What are you trying to accomplish? And then so I always keep reminding them, why did they come to me for? So sometimes most of them, if they have debt, then they want to get out of debt. They want to have financial freedom. And for most people, their definition of financial freedom is not to have to worry about money, or even they always think, oh, I'm not working, passive income. I mean, there's many different definition of financial freedom, but I think end of the day, you just want to feel free, you want to feel relief about money, you want to feel happy about money, you just have a good relationship with money. That's the basic foundation. So yeah, so if they overspend, then I always ask them, it's like you told me you want to retire early, and then we cannot get there if you don't pay for your debt. So then I have to be their accountability partner, and they have to always keep it positive cash flow. If they can't, then they need, and then we have to identify like what's going on, why are they keep on spending. And then sometimes like they want to go to Starbucks all the time because they're if they're addicted to coffee, that's fine. So how can we make an equivalent of that at home? Maybe you might need to wake up a little earlier, because sometimes they go to Starbucks for convenience purposes. So then they might have to wake up earlier, they have to change some of their lifestyle so they can make the coffee at home. And then sometimes they don't want the coffee at work because it sucks, and then so they have to do it at home. So we have to figure that out. How do we make their life easier, so that way they don't have an excuse to spend the money? So we work around on so many different things just to make it work for them.
I really like that, how you turn the question back on them, so they have to think about what they can cut out, and you're not just telling them, because they're more likely to do it if they come to the conclusion. Also, yeah, there is no easy fixes to life. There's not a one size fits all to life, to business, to finances, to anything. So what would be some of your guidance on how people can prepare their finances in case there happens to be another crash in the future?
So yeah, it boils down to, I'm gonna keep repeating this, like have a budget. Like no matter what, it can be a pen and paper, Excel, Google Sheet, Mint, why not? Like there's so many stuff out there. But then again, no tool will ever help you fix things if you don't know how to stick with it. So it's the same concept. I always compare this to being healthy, right? So if you're trying to be healthy, you're trying to cut down sugar or whatever, even working out, regular workout, it's a forever thing. You have to be regular and consistent. And then even with anything to succeed, even on LinkedIn, I wouldn't have succeeded or gained so much followers if I wasn't consistently posting new content every day. So it's all boils down. Same thing with money. You have to be very consistent. So have a budgeting and be consistent. You have to commit. Like, if you really want to change, you have to commit that you are willing to do the work. You are willing to change your habit and change your lifestyle, because if you don't, you're gonna keep doing what you're doing, you're gonna stay where you are, and you're not gonna progress. And then where has that taken you? So I think, like, sometimes, you can only pull someone, so far, right? Or encourage someone. So they have to come from a place, they have to be ready. They have to be ready to do the work. They have to be ready to know what it takes, and then they have to know the commitment it takes. So I think those are the ones who are actually able to succeed and be able to be successful, move forward. But so we try as much as we can to move through that barrier so they can actually succeed. And then most of that has to do with their mindset and emotion.
Yeah, I totally agree. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. So they have to have that inward motivation to change their life and do like small actionable steps daily and weekly, because they can't expect to, like, oh, I'm going to pay off all my debt in 1 month. It has to be, they have to see things happening and see growth and change happening, but it can't be like, oh, I'm going to become rich overnight. I'm going to have $1,000 in my checking account, or whatever the goal is. It has to be manageable, and they have to be able to keep moving and seeing growth. Well, wrapping up, do you have any final thoughts that you would like to share with the audience? And maybe it's specific to entrepreneurs and how they can go about investing or planning for retirement when they don't have such a stable paycheck.
Yeah, so you need to learn how to invest outside of the retirement fund. You can still do in your IRA, and then, like, if it's really unstable, then you need to really learn how to hustle. I mean, like, for me as an entrepreneur, it's very hard to succeed as an entrepreneur if you don't know how to hustle, if you're not comfortable with hustling. So I'm very comfortable with that. I actually love it. I thrive on it. So different people have different personalities. So if you prefer the steady paycheck, being an employee, then that's fine. Then that might be what what you need, because based on your personality. So if you are an employee, you have steady paychecks. That one's pretty simple. You max out your 401k. You can max out your IRA too. There are ways to convert and do backdoor Roth IRA. And then, make sure you invest. Once you max that out already, you have no choice there. Then you already have your emergency fund. Then learn to invest. Figure out what other investment vehicles is good for you to grow your money. But don't leave so much money in your cash account. So if you're an entrepreneur, then you hustle. You figure out how to create more passive income, because then your income is unstable. For me, my income goes up and down every month. I don't know how much I'm gonna make in any given month. So that's why I'm working on more digital products. So I just launched my LinkedIn online course, so that's passive now. And I already had a couple of sales since I launched it. So I'm trying to think more about other digital product or online products, like maybe financial literacy course. So that might be up next in my project list.
Yeah, for sure. Entrepreneurship life is not for everyone, and you have to find what works for you. And sometimes a side hustle on the weekend and working a full-time job is better. I want to thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your insight with our listeners. We will be posting links to her social media accounts and to her website, so you can go check her out.
Thank you, Cameron. Have a great day, everyone.
And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and don't forget to live life 1% better each and every day. Until next time, this has been Unscripted Startups.